Yeah, my friends, it still hurts Leila, Pereira, and Palmeiras, huh? No one dies owing us anything. The only four-time Libertadores champion in Brazil keeps getting attacked, mainly by the green crowd, the Palmeiras fans. It's impressive. It's impressive. You can tell it's targeted harassment. Otinho is here with me. I'm just keeping an eye on him to see if he's woken up or not, man. This is the time we get him to sleep. It's the time for us to record a little bit. But I think he's in what my wife calls the lizard moment. So, oh my God, guys, look, I want to come in just like that. Hey everyone, greetings. Bruno Negras, this is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, hit the notification bell, and leave a cool like on the video. We're here thanks to the sponsorship of Caravana do Arrudo. You can secure your spot at Flamengo's games at Maracanã and all over Brazil and the world. With Caravana do Arrudo, which has been serving Flamengo fans since 1980, taking them to the 1981 Club World Cup, something Palmeiras doesn't have, right? That's why they chase us so much. They want to be Flamengo. Palmeiras wants to be. It's impressive, man. And Leila Pereira, yesterday she complained about Flamengo's love, complained about the CBF. Everything she says she doesn't do, she did. Everything she says she's against, that she only complains through the proper channels. Everything she complains about, she did. Can you believe that Leila Pereira complained about the fact that Flamengo released that statement according to ESPN? Leila Pereira. No. Palmeiras is bothered by Flamengo's posts regarding refereeing. The posts Flamengo makes say, let the ball roll. Flamengo posts, let the ball roll. This post Flamengo makes, let the ball roll, the one Flamengo made today. Again, even ignoring Leila Pereira, Flamengo ignored Leila Pereira and made the let the ball roll post again. Don't. Leila gets desperate because Flamengo ignores her. While they're only thinking about Flamengo, Flamengo ignores, Flamengo didn't respond, Flamengo just went and posted. ESPN reported that Leila doesn't like these posts, that she feels Flamengo is putting pressure on the referees, but Flamengo gave a response, a velvet-gloved slap in the face. Flamengo ignored the complaints and posted, let the ball roll again. Making Leila even more annoyed. And Flamengo continues the practice of publishing the history of referees assigned to their matches, but this time, Flamengo even posted referees who have a positive record. Rafael Klaus recently in the last 5 games, there was a Flamengo win over Fluminense, had some interesting results. Obviously, there was, look here at the 0-0 with Vasco, Flamengo was harmed. There was the win over Fluminense 1-0, the loss to Atlético Mineiro 1-0, but also a win over Juventude and a win over Vitória. So these are the records of everyone there. Caio, Max, Augusto, the other one, Danilo Ricardo, Simão Muniz, Bruno Bosquilha. Bruno Bosquilha, for example, was at the 2-0 win over Corinthians, the Supercopa do Brasil. He was at that Supercopa do Brasil game and some others. So Flamengo posted it, okay, but it showed that actually the recent record of these referees isn't bad. In other words, Flamengo isn't doing this to put pressure. Flamengo is showing that they've usually refereed well recently against Flamengo, except for one game or another. Most of them are in favor, so Flamengo is just showing that, and Leila's getting upset. It's impressive. Did she release that statement yesterday? Leila's complaints, right, about the statement, and it's a hypocritical statement. Palmeiras' statement is hypocritical, right? Yesterday, Palmeiras released a statement complaining. I'll bring it here for you. Take a look. See exactly what it is. Eles falaram que, in light of recent events, however, the club comes forward to publicly express its deep dissatisfaction with the handling of the case involving the trial of coach Abel Ferreira by Brazil's Superior Sports Court, and with the postponement by the Brazilian Football Confederation in a decision that goes against the principles historically adopted by the disciplinary committees. Our coach was punished with disproportionate severity in a session that considered, among other impressions and details, a lip reading. That's fine, like I said yesterday, so what now? They also express our dissatisfaction with the CBF's decision to accept Flamengo's request to reschedule a game against Fluminense from today to tomorrow. In this case, today was actually yesterday, right? Her complaints don't mean we need to discuss the request's merits. It is necessary to question, however, why only one club has its request granted, while other teams have had similar requests systematically rejected by the organization. In a calendar that is admittedly challenging, all clubs face logistical difficulties, including Palmeiras, and that's why it's essential to have impartiality and transparency in decisions that can impact the championship. My dear, let's go. First, Palmeiras plays on Sunday and Flamengo on Saturday. Flamengo played at the same time and day in the Libertadores. CBF scheduled Palmeiras for Sunday and Flamengo for Saturday, so are you complaining for nothing? Palmeiras benefited and Flamengo was harmed. Got it? Now let's go. I have a dossier here to destroy that statement of yours, okay? In 2020, during the pandemic, Flamengo, with 14 players missing, with everyone infected, you didn't want to postpone the game and Flamengo had to play with youngsters and still managed to draw at your home. Palmeiras, dear, has already secured several postponements with the CBF, all beneficial for your club. They were knocked out of the World Cup on July 4 and requested to postpone their July 13 match with Santos. They got what they wanted even though Santos complained. In other words, Fluminense agreed, Santos didn't, and you had your match postponed. Even so, and I'll say more, there was no need for it at all. Palmeiras was already in Brazil. Oh, they had to give the players a break, but Palmeiras was already in Brazil. It was no big deal. And by doing that, you know what happened? Besides not facing Santos at that moment, Palmeiras also contributed to their opponent being more rested to face the red and black team, okay? Tá? So it affected everything too. When it benefits you, that's fine, but when it happens to others, it's no big deal, right? That's right. In Santos' case, the match was postponed despite the Palmeiras squad already being in Brazil with enough time to play. There was also a change in the Botafogo game because of the Tardezinha show at Mengão, in other words, because of a concert. In addition, the CBF postponed matches for clubs participating in the Club World Cup, including Palmeiras itself. Shut up, man. You guys are annoying. You only think about Flamengo. You keep complaining and say you only complain through the proper channels. No, you complain all the time. In press conferences, in official statements, you do complain, okay? Tá? Right, Otto? You do complain? Otto is awake watching me here. And I'll say more. Abel Pereira, in every press conference, talks about the final, that it hurts, it still hurts a lot, you all still feel it a lot. And then Santos, who was harmed by you, now comes out in your defense. Do you know why? Because it's against everything and everyone. Then we have Kuka saying, look, here.
You play today, you can't play. Tuesday, we didn't fix it. That day, unfortunately, in the other matches, we did very well. We didn't conceded in 3 of them. And, of course, there's sacrifice, there's wear and tear, the player. Today, because of this trip we had, since we were also delayed.
We were also delayed. Our goal, too.
We were also worn out. But if you don't play today, you can't play on Tuesday, so we played now. You have to let the player rest. He has to be in his best condition.
He answered himself. Yeah, Tuesday what? Flamengo plays Thursday, Fluminense on Wednesday. Flamengo managed it, Fluminense accepted. Not your problem. You've been complaining since 2007, right? You've been complaining for almost 20 years, huh? Cuca Baludo has been complaining for 20 years. That's crazy, man. That's what I say. Everyone is against Flamengo. And look, Palmeiras hurt Santos, right? Santos complained in 2025. Last year at the Club World Cup, Santos complained, and now they're already sucking up to Palmeiras. Everyone is sucking up to Palmeiras. Those influencers from Fluminense, from Vasco, everyone is sucking up to Palmeiras. Then they come asking me for a collab, damn it. Then they come asking me for a collab because they want Flamengo's engagement. Now you're sucking up to Palmeiras, damn it, ass kissers, damn it, you're all ass kissers, damn it, egg suckers, you suck up to Leila, suck up to Palmeiras, okay? Ronaldo Angelim sucked up, destroyed you guys, look at that. Good morning.
My son, let's go. Good morning, my people there. Again this comment, again the pain, son. What does Flamengo have to do with this? If the one who agreed to postpone the game was Fluminense and another one Who is in second place? As far as I know, it's Fluminense, not Flamengo. So if anyone is being harmed here, it's Fluminense. Fluminense didn't say anything, didn't complain about anything. Palmeiras can't do anything. You don't just remember Flamengo.
Flamengo thinks about Flamengo.
Focus on playing, man. Forget Flamengo. Fluminense is ahead of us. They're the ones who could complain because they agreed to the match. Give me a break. Doesn't Abel always talk about the players, the athletes needing rest? He says it. He says, man, playing every 3 days. So, because Fluminense agreed, Flamengo played at high altitude, there was a flight delay, all that stuff. Palmeiras wants to commit. Flamengo is afraid of Fluminense. They're in second place, right? Not Flamengo, who has 17 points, still 6 behind, with 25. Are you afraid of us, Scolari? My God, let's go after them. Let's go after them. We always go after them. They're scared. Us, with 17 points, them with 25. You saw Flamengo coming up from behind.
Yeah.
They're already looking back, already scared. That's how it usually goes. Yeah.
We'll talk later. They're already shaking, seeing Flamengo coming. Right, Otto? You can already see Flamengo coming. They're already shaking. It's impressive, man. It's impressive. We'll share more situations here. For those following the Paparazzo channel, Bruninho, I want to remind you as well. The new Flamengo White Mantle 1 jersey products, you can get them now on Shopee, the products that are here, okay? There are Shopee products on YouTube shopping now. The White Mango jersey, White Mantle 1, you can get it, and many other products as well, okay? You who are here with us, right? If you aren't subscribed yet to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro 2 channel and to the Paparazzo Nação do Ale channel, make sure to subscribe to those channels too. And I'll be tagging here in the Collab Nação do Ale, the Paparazzo 2 channel, and the Moment of Paparazzo. And you who are watching the highlight, we also post the next highlight on the Paparazzo Rubro Negro 2 channel or Momento do Paparazzo. We always make these highlights, okay? So look, we have Globo Esporte bringing the reasons, right, that Flamengo had for renewing Bruno Henrique's contract, okay? The player will reach 9 years at Flamengo. He got tired of crushing Palmeiras. He's Palmeiras' nemesis, the guy who has the most titles. I think Bruno Henrique and Arrascaeta are the two players, right, who have the most titles in history. Against Palmeiras, you can pick players from Corinthians, from Santos, from Pele. Because since Palmeiras is Flamengo's whipping boy, Flamengo has a lot of victories over Palmeiras. Palmeiras hasn't beaten Flamengo in the Brazilian League for 8 years or won at Maracanã in 10 years. Man, it's just, there are so many things, so many titles. Flamengo even winning at their own place. Throwing seats on the field, throwing chairs on the field at Gabigol and Bruno Henrique, guys, if we look at it. Bruno Henrique is the player with the most titles against Palmeiras in history. I'm going to ask you guys to do this research. Help me out, but I think that's probably it, okay? So, the player will reach 9 years at Flamengo by the end of the new contract. In 2027, he'll have 9 years at Flamengo. He and Arrascaeta are making a lot of history. There are still many more titles to celebrate. That's it. So Flamengo is very close to signing Bruno Henrique's extension, and he will then reach 9 years. The contract lasts until 2027, and both parties have agreed on the salary. The player's salary, in fact, will not change. That is, there will be no increase or decrease, as some people said. Okay, it's not going to decrease. Fine, it was renewed in 2024. Bruno Henrique was among the highest paid on the team at the time, but that's no longer the case. So his ranking has already dropped, right? There are players today who earn almost 3 times more, right? Nowadays, with signing bonuses and everything else, that's how it is, right? Flamengo even proposed a salary reduction, but the player's staff also understood that a decrease didn't make sense. The club made the first official contacts at the end of last month, and the talks progressed without major setbacks. Only a few details remain, which are considered simple. The expectation is that it will be signed next week, and he would stay until 2027. There's no risk of him leaving, and then yes, he might think suddenly about retirement or playing for another club to end his career. I think he won't want to do that. He'll try. In the worst case, in the best case, 1 more year after that. If he does well this year, I'm sure he will, right? 2026 and 2027, he'll do very well, right? So, he's a player who went through an injury in 24, recovering from that injury in 2024 and 2025. Then he came under some criticism, but he had his good moments. And now, right, getting another chance with Leonardo Jardim. He came in and crushed it and showed the fans, right, that he really deserves all this attention, all this affection from the board, from Flamengo, from the fans. He deserves this renewal until 2027. Bruno Henrique, he deserves it, man, I'll tell you. He didn't deserve to have his salary reduced, right? He's a guy who's already done so much for Flamengo, has done so much for our fans. He's a humble guy. He's a top-notch guy. Besides being a great decisive player, really a top guy, folks. Mauro Cesar Pereira talked about this too. I think it's important for us to highlight that. Check this out. On Charla podcast, the journalist presented an important analysis about the striker Bruno Henrique, right? It's perhaps the best value for money signing in Flamengo's history because Flamengo bought him for a price that, let's say, wasn't very high. Flamengo loaned Jean Lucas to Santos, that's right. He was already hungry, right? And I was trying to entertain him here because I started recording. He woke up, he was sleeping, and then he talks. Flamengo loaned Jean Lucas to Santos. Then, after the games he played at Santos, he went to Lyon for 8 million euros and Flamengo sold him. As far as I remember, Santos didn't have any sell-on clause. I mean, Flamengo sold him and kept the money. And then Santos wanted Uribe, Santos' striker. And Flamengo even included Uribe in the deal and deducted it from the debt. He cost next to nothing. A phenomenal player, for example, in 2019 with all the many red cards and suspensions at Flamengo. There's that Flamengo versus Corinthians 4-1 match that got Fabio Carrilli fired, who had been Brazilian champion 2 years earlier with Corinthians and was the current champion and also the São Paulo state champion. That whole thing, Bruno Henrique dominated that game. Okay, he dominated that game. Bruno Henrique, man, he was decisive. Mauro Cesar Pereira talking about it. But man, Bruno Henrique really was always very decisive. He really deserved this contract renewal. I'm very happy to be able to bring this news about Bruno Henrique's contract renewal, which we reported exclusively. A few weeks ago, when we talked to Denis Ricardo, Flamengo was wrapping up its preparations. There was a training session this morning. On game day, Flamengo does an on-field activation, which isn't a full training session. The players who went into camp after yesterday's training are now staying at Ninho do Urubu. We have all the information here to share with you as you follow along. Stay with us until the end, because we're going to bring you news about a forward who plays in England in the Premier League who can't stop thinking about Flamengo. All right then, 11th round today, Premier Maracanã, Rio de Janeiro, 6 o'clock, 18. Probably lineup for Mengão: Rossi, Varela, Leo Ortiz, Leo Pereira, Alexandro, Everton, Araujo, Paquetá, Rascaeta, Carrascal, Samuel, Lino, and Pedro. Or he could start Bruno Henrique instead of Samuel Lino and Luis Araujo instead of Carrascal. Because Luis Araujo didn't play much and Bruno Henrique played a lot. If Bruno is rested, he can play there. Samuel Lino, who was Flamengo's standout player in the month of Flamengo's main sponsor, he was even chosen as the standout by the fans. But Bruno Henrique played a lot. I would like to see Bruno Henrique on the field even more. The king of derbies against Fluminense, and today there's a derby there too. And Diniz will put Palmeiras in their place. Palmeiras only thinks about Flamengo, so Diniz will go there, Diniz will go there. Today, the red and black fans cheer for Mengão against Fluminense, and there's still a bit of Diniz-style football there against Palmeiras. Look at Fluminense's probable lineup, the tireless Fabio, the goalkeeper, who should, I say this even as a Flamengo fan, he should go to the World Cup. Fábio, Samuel, Xavier, Gêmeos, Freitas, and René. You're laughing. Martinelli, Hercules, Lucio, Acosta. Keep an eye on him. This player, man, this guy, he's not in a good phase, but against Flamengo, he usually does well. Serna, Kevinho, or Savarino, Canobio, also tireless. And John Kennedy, you have to tie up John Kennedy's records. Don't let him play. No. So today, Flamengo, here is Luis Zubeldia's likely lineup to face Flamengo. Missing players are Facundo, Bernal, Nonato, and Germán Cano. Man, poor Cano, injured once again. Good guy, nice person, has a beautiful story in football, a great story at Fluminense, but he just can't stop getting injured. There comes an age when it gets complicated. We've already posted on social media about the refereeing. Rafael Claus from São Paulo is officiating, which I think is absurd since the match directly affects a team from São Paulo. They're in the top 4 trying to catch up to Palmeiras, the São Paulo team leading. So they assigned a referee from São Paulo. In a game like this, a draw is really good for Palmeiras. So, man, I get upset about this, but there's the derby, Corinthians and Palmeiras, they're going to slip up too. Assistant Danilo Ricardo Simão Manins, Bruno Bosquilha, and the VR is Caio Max Augusto Vieira from Goiânia. So, let me give you the update I was talking about regarding that Premier League striker. They're talking about Flamengo again, man. This guy, he should never have left. If we still had him, Flamengo wouldn't need to be desperately looking for a striker to compete with Pedro, to be an option when Pedro can't play, or even to fight for a spot with Pedro. Tá? Rodrigo Muniz is still doing very well at Fulham in England, and he hasn't forgotten his roots. He made a point of declaring his love, the love he has for Flamengo, and made it clear that his goal is to return to Brazilian football before ending his career. Yes, I have a very strong connection with Flamengo. I still have friends who play there. I have a special affection. I came through the club's academy, and I want to go back, especially because I'm Brazilian. Because of this desire, I have to play football. It will definitely happen. It will be a long time, but I would definitely go back. He said he wanted to return, yes. So, guys, I feel happy, to see a player like Muniz, who should never have left, but who has this affection, this respect. Still for Flamengo, he's playing in one of the biggest leagues in the world. I know that today he's highly valued. They even talk about 60 million euros. Flamengo wouldn't have the money to pay that. It would even be absurd. You sell him for 8 million euros and bring him back for 60. That's quite a bargain, but that's how it is. One day I won't hope he loses value, since that would mean he's playing poorly. But maybe one day, who knows, when he's older but still playing, he could come back and shine a lot at Flamengo. Rodrigo Muniz is spectacular. A true center forward, Rodrigo Muniz. Yeah. He'll come back. He'll come back to Flamengo. I have faith. He's good, an excellent player. He should never have left. I don't get it, selling a player of that quality. Flamengo needing a striker so much, selling a player for 8 million euros who is now worth 60. It's unbelievable. That's it. I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe below, turn on notifications, hit the bell, and drop a like on the video. Don't forget, the new jersey, Flamengo's white home jersey, is being sold here. Also on Shopee, at Flamengo's official stores all over Brazil, and also at the flamengo.com.br store. But you can get it here. Help Flamengo, help our channel. You help a lot. Shopee here on YouTube, shopping. And of course, don't forget, subscribe, share, comment. You really help our channel. We're in this together. Greetings from Bruno. This is Flamengo. Thanks, guys. Take care. I'm out.